Welcome to Brother Owl's Garden. I'm very delighted to welcome back a new friend of mine, Lisa Wehler, coming to us from Pennsylvania. And we are going to be talking about some very, very interesting and fascinating, possibly far out topics tonight. And I'd like to give a little tip of the tinfoil hat to my friend Vanderbam out there in Nepal. This is for you. I am geared up and ready to go with the old tinfoil hat. And tonight we are going to be talking about Gaia, the Earth, planets, aliens, interstellar beings, and more specifically, the Greys. And so at this point, I now turn the platform over to Lisa. Welcome. Thank you so much, Lisa Wehler. Welcome.
Thank you. I so hope I can stop laughing. I love your hat, and it's so appropriate for our topic.
It sort of suits me, doesn't it? I kind of jive with
I
this.
like it. I like it. You should have let me know. I would have made mine.
Well, we will be doing a third, so there's another chance.
Okay. I have an opportunity then.
Lisa, what have you got for us today? I know this is going to be far out, deep.
It's going to be far out. It's going to be, you know what? If you are not of an open mind, maybe you don't want to watch this. So I'm just going to spew what I have, and we can comment on it.
Well,
right?
You know what? It is what it is. You have the experiences that you have the knowledge, understanding, and insight that you have. That's what I've invited you to share with us today. And
okay.
As with all topics, people will receive and do with them as they choose. We honor free will here. And I am very interested in what you have to share personally. So.
Oh, well, thank you. All right. Well, my consciousness is not completely of a human consciousness. Oh, leave it on, please.
Oh, you want me to leave it on? All right, I'm going to
wear I love it.
So
just for a while, for as long as you like.
Okay.
My consciousness is part of planetary consciousness. There's an aspect of me that is connected to the consciousness of all planets. And my soul group comes here as a witness in times of great, great change. And we are indeed in times of great change. And because of this disclosure rollout that is happening right now, I've decided to come forward and tell the story from a planetary perspective. And, our planet is many things. Some people think it's a prison planet, that, we're just loose for reptiles. And other people think that it's a school, it's a karmic cycle, and we learn. But the earth tells me, and the planetary consciousness tells me through my channelings and through my meditations, that the purpose of this place is to evolve our consciousness. The earth is immortal. You can't destroy her. She's multidimensional. She has almost infinite realms. And life here, all life here, is basically us. Without us here, without humanity here, without the original souls that the earth has her covenant with, life would not exist here. There wouldn't be this would be a pile of decaying rock. We are the life on this planet. We are this planet. We are the original creators of this planet. So the earth story is this. Her purpose of when she was created, her mission was to create a being that creates from the heart and the mind. And most ETs create from the heart, and the heart is the will of the creator. So the creator desired something independent, and that's a creature with absolute free will to create whatever it wants, however it wants, whenever it wants. The Greys are a part of the Earth's first creation. They're from this planet. They're a part of our human family, like it or not. They rejected the heart, and throughout their evolution, they developed technologies and they rejected what the earth had to offer for them. And when your energy does not match the energy of the planet, it's like two magnets coming together and they repel each other, and it creates this mass energy in between. And their desire did not match the earth's desire, didn't match your templates. And they actually they self-destructed. They destructed their cycle. So the Greys went out into the universe and they tried to evolve without a planet. But you really can't evolve without a planet. You can't clone yourself and fracture your soul and create more of you. You just can't do that. They're like an aborted race. They should have gone extinct, but they didn't.
Okay, there's a whole lot there. So if I could
Mhm.
chime in,
Yes.
we're going to go very fundamental here. For those who may not automatically know what you mean when you say the grays, give us the simplest
Yes.
definition so that we're all on the same page.
The Greys were the Earth's first creation. They're part of the human family. Now, I know that there's all kinds of groups of Greys, just like there are all kinds of groups of people, but they're really not, um, they're not, they're not separate from us. They are from another dimension on this planet. They're interdimensional. They are not terrestrials. Our planet has infinite realms. And I don't know, there's different groups. I'm not privy to all the groups and what they're doing, but there is a certain group here that is very interested in this planet because it's tied into their very survival.
Okay, I'm going to go many, many, many layers simpler and lower and say that the grays are a biological entity humanoid, which is the classic depiction of what we call aliens, and that are normally assumed, and you would say incorrectly, to be from other planets, other galaxies, etc. And and
They
you're
they
saying that
they
they
have
were the
gone
first.
from they started at this point, yes.
Okay, so they are kind of like humanoid 1.0.
They are what you see, those little gray things, they're like 3D printed bodies with a piece of consciousness in it. They really
Okay,
don't have a whole lot of emotions or feelings, and there's not a lot going on there.
okay, and
There's
that
a hierarchical system, there's a middle type gray, and then there's a much higher gray that kind of is in control of everything.
and do they physically look different or the same?
Yes, there's taller ones,
Okay,
but
you and I.
they're all cloned, they're all fabricated, they're not they're not made of they're made of material, but they're not really it's it's not a material that you or I would think is living.
Okay, would it be close to call them an AI biobot?
It's a combination of that and a very small fraction of a soul.
Okay, and you and I and many of our viewers, I would presume, are familiar with Linda Moulton Howe, and my understanding of the whole topic of interstellar beings, aliens, Anunnaki, all of that comes from a conglomeration of the material, research, and lectures that have been offered by Linda Moulton Howe and Paul Anthony Wallace, Eric von Daniken, Jeremiah Sitchin, and Michael Tellinger. I would say that almost everything that I am aware of about them has been gleaned from their lectures and their presentations.
Well, I had a past life as one of these things. So I think I would know. I was shown the past life. Um, I'm here as a witness. I have to be everything. I have to understand it from all angles. And that is part of my ambassadorship here, is to understand this from all angles. So yes, I remember having a past life as one of these creatures. So I know very well what they're made of, and I know very well what it feels like to be one of those things.
So along those lines, compare, expound upon this and tell us, maybe some of the things that the the names that I mentioned, these are the leading experts in the field. Where are they wrong compared to what you say
I,
that you
I
know from
don't
experience?
I don't think they're hugely wrong. I don't think they're hugely misled. I When I first got this story, I went looking for answers because I figured people like this would have the answers. They would know. But it's not all quite put together the way the planet has told me this story. And everyone seems to have a little piece of this. But I'm going to put it together in such a way that we're going to definitely understand who these creatures are. They're highly narcissistic. They really are looking for answers outside of themselves. They can't look within. They can't find the answers within themselves. They don't think they're the problem. They're highly technological. They are from our past, our present, and our future. And that's a lot to understand, but they have broken the barrier of time. They have gone into this planet. They have come back into this planet because the earth just creates. She continues her mission. She creates humanity. And the Greys, through their ability to look in the past, present, and future, they see their own demise. They see that they're going to just go extinct. So they go looking for answers. They see that humanity rises and they see the power that humanity holds and they crave it. So they come back here, they start farming us, they start tinkering with our genetics. They're probably at the time that we were about hunter gatherers, they really started ramping up tinkering with our genetics. They basically raped this planet. They broke into higher realms that govern our evolution. They separate us from our innate guidance. And after a while, we don't even know who we are. We're not even sure who we are. We don't know why we're here. We don't know anything. We have no innate guidance. They've hacked our reincarnation cycles. I mean, if you look at the reincarnation cycles, and I've looked at maybe, I would say, hundreds of near death experiences, and I see some of the same things. I see we have this life review that is, we feel a lot of self shame in this life review. We feel like we have to go back and, reincarnate again and do this over again. And but we forget everything. So how can you do this planet and forget all of your past lives? You can't. You can't do that. And then if that doesn't work, then at the end, they show you source. And source is this amazing amount of love. It's so beautiful. It's like that's the narcissistic love bomb phase. I mean, that's manipulating in itself. I think the whole NDE thing is highly manipulated. I think that there's all the systems on this planet. are about controlling us. These systems don't work for us. This is like we're colonized. This is like a colonial thing. Like they come in, they take the resources, which is us, and through their superior technology, they put people in charge, like capos in a concentration camp. They put these altered humans in charge. Some people call them reptiles. People call them the controllers. People call them the 1%. And they've traded all their integrity for a better seat in hell, but they're still us. Those reptiles are us. There's no one that's allowed on this planet besides us. So we are completely a manipulated species.
Lisa, when you say we are a manipulated species, and you mentioned genetic modifications, etc., that would fit into what a lot of us know about the Anunnaki story, which is all based on Zechariah Sitchin. If I said Jeremiah before, I'm sorry. It's Zechariah.
Yes, I understood.
Yeah. So that's based on Sitchin, and his work has been torn to shreds ever since then. Anyway, but the basic story is that this far superior race of humanoid beings who were probably much larger than us, depicted in the ancient Sumerian, stone carvings, bas relief type stuff, um, came here basically to take gold from the planet, which apparently the story says they've taken the majority of it already. We're dealing with what's left. And it was needed something about their atmosphere. Their planet was dying. They needed it to sustain their atmosphere, something like that.
I'm not saying that this isn't true. When we had a huge fall in consciousness, there may be others that are influencing us, but they can't really show up here on the planet. This is our planet.
Mm-hmm.
We are incredibly manipulated to hurt ourselves. There's a lot of genetic tinkering. There's, because of our fallen consciousness, other species may have found opportunities here. I'm not privy to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I only know the story of the Greys as I've been told. And there's a lot of holes in my story. There's I don't have all the answers, but there's other species that are involved with us. That's true.
Well,
But the Greys are basically parasites. They're trying to piggyback onto our evolutionary cycle. They're trying to mesh themselves. They're trying to create a species to genetically alter us so that we're at a similar vibration to them, so that we mesh together. You can't just take a beautiful angelic being and throw a totally self-serving consciousness into it. They don't mesh, they don't match. So that's what the Greys are trying to do by altering our society this way. They're trying to gain power here. They're trying to evolve, and they're trying to save their race, but they don't realize that we are just as much part of their race as they are, because they're highly narcissistic beings.
Well, I have to make one observation also. Well, let me conclude about the Anunnaki. The point of that story was that the story says, okay, that they genetically modified a hominid, an Earth origin hominid,
Yes.
something along the lines between a Sasquatch and a Neanderthal, that kind of thing, with their DNA, and created what we now call Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay. And
that's in line with what I've been given.
and the evidence, there's a lot of evidence that you can find anything you want today to support any belief you have. So
That's true.
but I have to make this observation. When you describe the Greys and how they're so narcissistic and disconnected, and they're all about self and greed and, usurpation and all this. Isn't that what humans are
Well,
largely
yes,
being now?
yes. We are manipulated to be in the same vibration so that they can piggyback onto us. They are trying to create a being that is within their same vibration that they can put themselves into, and they can piggyback onto us to go through this evolutionary cycle. They make hybrids. They've tried so many things, but I got to tell you that we've been going around and around and around with many cycles with these grays, and it doesn't work. Each cycle goes by that's not successful, they destroy the cycle. That's what the destruction is on this planet. They collapse this and they try again. If the Earth's job is to evolve us, involve our consciousness, why would the Earth destroy us? Why would they destroy us? There's no logic to that. The Earth is an all benevolent being that has incredible love for us. She does not destroy or collapse cycles, and every breath we take is a perfectly balanced breath that helps our body. Why would she destroy it? It makes no sense. They
Well,
destroy it because they don't get what they want. They don't
let
get what
me
they want. And they just start again. A lot of cycles go by. We're not evolving. We're never going to be a match to their energy.
All right. Let me throw this out to you. What would you say to
Mhm.
the people who say, wait a minute, nature doesn't care. Nature does what nature does because it's what nature does. And nature has no concern for humankind whatsoever. You either align yourself with the ways and laws of nature and you thrive and benefit, or you disconnect or oppose, in disharmony with the ways and rules of nature, and you suffer consequences because nature doesn't care. What would you say to that theory in response?
That it's pretty close. You have to align with the life wave of this planet. You have to align with the template that she's given you. If you do not align with the template that she's giving you, it's your choice. You can do that if you want, but you will go extinct.
Okay, I wonder if I could make a parallel. Of course, this is all coming to you live and unrehearsed. you know, uh, the question or the point I'd like to offer there is the way that you are describing. Would it be correct to say Gaia?
Yeah, sure, you can call her whatever you want.
Okay, the way that you are presenting and describing Gaia, and that Gaia loves humanity and has the agenda of our consciousness, ascension and evolution, etc. But also free will is respected and not meddled with by Gaia. And you can align yourself with the ways and rules of how Gaia is, and you will benefit and thrive. Or you can disconnect or oppose, and you will, rail against and suffer. This is a parallel to God, source, supreme divinity. This is the same concept of how I personally, and many with me, understand the supreme being. Um, you are loved and sustained and upheld, but your free will is respected, not interfered with, not meddled with, and you can choose to live in alignment and harmony with the supreme, or in disconnection and opposition to the supreme, and you will reap what you sow therein.
I mean, in a nutshell, yeah. You know, I see her as just as much as a victim of her own creation as we are victimized. She is too. I mean, who goes? I mean, she sustained rape of her systems and of her entire planet, and it's like the Mary Shelley Frankenstein story, the creation that comes back to haunt us. We're just going around in these cycles. You know, I like you. I don't see a breakdown of old systems here. I just see more to say no to. I don't see a breakdown of the old systems. I don't see that. I just see them ramping up more and more stuff, more and more things to say no to. I don't think narcs are ever going to let go. I don't think they're going to let go. I just think that we have to just use our ability to say no and use our ability to just say, I don't want this. I want to work with something else. I want to be something else. Because there was a decision made that there would be new templates for our creation and the way we want to create things built. And I have the ability to see into these realms, into these higher realms, to see things that are being built. There's a new template that's based on unity, harmony, joy. And that's not anything a narcissist can create with. So we're going to go forward and we're going to create with these. We're going to go forward and we're going to create with our desire that we want something different. We don't want this control. We want something different. We have to look away from the old. I don't know what happens to all the horrible people on this planet that have subjugated us. They're part of our human race. So I think there's going to be a lot of truth and reconciliation between us and them at some point. And also at some point, the Greys are a part of our group too. So what's going to happen is that at some point, humanity has to heal from this abuse. And at some point, humanity is going to go look back and they are going to loop back and revisit it, not with control, not with this monstrous attachment, but we're going to look at it with compassion because we have to help the Greys too. They are part of us, whether we like it or not. The reptiles, the gray, we're all one. We're all one being. We've just lost our way. And at some point, we have to look at this. But there was some kind of decision made. I can't really say. I'm not in those higher realms that makes these decisions. That instead of coming at it in this narcissistic way to try to make one and force one and be a parasite onto us to make us one, what we're going to do is, as humanity, as the victims here, we are the victims. We need that space to heal. We need that understanding and we need that compassion and we need to come back and look at this problem with compassion.
This is a lot to unpack, and I know I don't speak only for myself.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you know that, and for the average person, even the spiritually awakening person, this is a lot. And I'm not ready to embrace all that you're sharing. And that's me being authentic because that's where I am now. And I'm coming from the cultivated, refined understanding, which could be completely wrong, that I have of this topic and all of that at this point in my life. And where I'm at now is that there are over 50.
Breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I almost forgot to acknowledge our sponsor today, Ti-Fi. These constant interruptions and freezings,
Yep,
which are driving
right.
me much more crazy than the viewers, are brought to you by Thailand Wi-Fi. So anyway, and possibly Pennsylvania Wi-Fi. I have to say it could be that too. But anyway,
I live out in the middle of nowhere, so yeah.
yeah, we're gonna split the credit to both of those because it honestly I have a very high occurrence of
Okay.
freezing and lack of synchronization between video and audio on your end, but my end is never great. So, but anyway, my understanding is that at least the United States military intelligence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, uh, it is said that they know there are 54 or something known species, all of them different, unique, autonomous. Some of them would love nothing more than to destroy us off the face of the planet, and others are fighting for hundreds of thousands of years and more on our behalf. I've heard of something called the Council of Five, which is the five most pro-human, helpers, five different species of what we'll just call aliens for the sake of ease, and absolutely everything that I think I understand could be completely wrong, and I acknowledge that. However, there's one point, and it's very fundamental. I could have started with it. There's one point that I will not budge, and that is we are not alone. I think it is profoundly ignorant and arrogant and stupid to think that we are it and there's nothing else out there. I just won't even entertain the possibility of that anymore. But
Agreed.
but what we see coming now, Lisa, and I know you know about this, is the masses, the public, for some reason continues to look to the authorities to tell them what to think and what to believe and what to know and what is true and etc.
Well, think about what a victim does. A victim doesn't, you can't even think for yourself. You are so indoctrinated by your narcissistic partner or your narcissist to only look to that authority and not think for yourself. We're
So
victim.
so the groundwork has been very well laid out for the past, I'll say, 60, 70 years for
Correct.
a giant heap of bull that we are about to be fed, I think, that
Mhm.
will be a disclosure, a
I,
false
from what I
disclosure.
can see, what I can see, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of truth into this disclosure, but there's going to be manipulation somewhere. I don't know if we're going to be manipulated into thinking something that I don't know. I just sense this big manipulation coming, and I don't know where that comes from. And I want to state right here, right now, that I am not proposing any kind of religion, any kind of new age la la airy fairy stuff. We're all one. Da, da, da. You know, uh, I'm in this with you, and I just think um, we don't need to make a religion. We don't need to worship anything. We just need to honor ourselves.
Well, I don't
We
think that
need to honor ourselves.
yeah, I don't think you've given anyone the impression otherwise. We haven't talked about new agey woo woo stuff and all. I mean, we are out on the edge with
Right.
this topic, and we acknowledge that up front. Um, but
Yeah.
but we also have the courage and the sincerity to talk about it and to share our conversation with the viewers who are interested enough to still be with us at this point. And thank you for that, viewers.
Well, I wanna end with something here, and or I want to state that do you know who Colonel Corso was? He had some very intimate contact with one of these beings.
He was a Canadian
And
military personnel. Yes, I know.
yeah,
He died not long
and
ago,
one
but he disclosed everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the things that the being said to him was, you know, Colonel Corso said, "Well, you know, what's in it for me? What's in it for humanity?" And the being said, "A new world if you can take it."
Yeah, I've heard that, I believe, from Linda Moulton Howe. I believe it was her that
Mhm,
but I have heard that,
mhm,
and that phrase circulated in my head many times as I thought about how our
mhm.
conversation would go today. So, um,
Me too.
I would just like to add in conclusion about the what I think that it's not right for humanity to look to the same characters that brought us so much else that I could cite right now. Why don't you just get on YouTube and look up a video called,
Bingo.
yeah, it's called Everything is a Rich Man's Game. I think that's the exact title. Everything is a Rich Man's Game. And
Yeah,
if I got one
yeah,
word wrong, you'll still find it.
yeah.
And, those who brought us the JFK assassination, those that brought us, well, let's even start with World War II. World War II was not what the public was told. The invasion of Pearl
Yes.
Harbor was not what we were told.
I'm sorry, but our entire history is that, you know, I'm also told that this actually tried to come through, this new template tried to come through after the Enlightenment. And that completely collapsed with, the crown heads of Europe being sliced off
Yeah.
and terror. And, this template has tried to come through before. So this is not a guarantee. We haven't already won. We have to take this ourselves. We have to take it. We have to take it. We have to come up out of our victimhood. We have to stop serving. Go back to our chat about non-compliance. That's what needs to be done here.
Yeah, I mean, as they say, nobody's coming to save you. Even
That's right. That's
the
right.
the Buddha's final word.
And certainly not our government. Our government is not going to save us.
No, well,
This is an
that's what I'm getting at.
individual personal thing.
That's what I'm getting at with my point about the disclosure thing. Anyone that's going to look to the same characters who brought us JFK, World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, the cough cough,
Right.
and the next cough cough
Right.
that's in the works and it's imminent.
Whatever.
If and even the Ukraine and Russia conflict. Are you kidding? You're gonna turn to them and say, "No, what's going on? Wait, what? Tell me the truth about what's happening." You got to be kidding. You got to be kidding. So
Yes.
when it comes to this quote unquote false disclosure or manipulated
You have to
narrative,
remember that they want to keep the status quo. They want to jump on to another timeline that's going to be 72,000 years of them ruling here because they don't want to face their karma. They don't want to face what's done here. They can't possibly face that they were the capos in the concentration camp. They can't face that. This is their agenda. This is what they want.
well, I tell you what,
As far as I'm concerned, the gray, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll tell you what, no,
Yes,
the
I
power of no,
agree.
at
The
least for
power of no.
yeah, at least for this person, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't.
No, we have boundaries and limitations that we're participating in needs to stop. You need to leave the narcissist. You have no contact. I'm not talking We have to leave this behind. And we have to stop this insanity. And the best way to get rid of a narcissist is to leave. We have to leave here. We have to not look back at this place. We have to go forward. We have to go forward with compassion for ourselves, compassion for each other, have this space and time to heal. And maybe we can revisit it. I don't know. Maybe they need to go extinct.
Well, you talk about we need to move forward.
I think me personally, I believe that they need to go extinct, but the planet doesn't delineate who she loves. She loves all her creations, and she wants us to become one at some point. And I actually feel in my heart that at some point we are going to come together, but it can't be now. We're too much in victim narcissist mode.
Well, I think I take a bit of a more tough love stance in this situation, and I would just say continue on the path that you continue choosing to continue. I go
Yeah.
keep on keeping on. How's it working out for you? Keep doing it, because in the end, I did an episode on this ages ago. We can't fix anyone. You can hardly manage yourself. If you're going to be honest about it, it's
Yeah.
to try to
We're
even
very
manage
trauma
yourself.
we are a traumatized society down into our cellular level. We're traumatized from these constant collapses of our society. There's so much trauma in our systems. We need peace within ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to work with the unity, the harmony, the joy, the abundance, the courage, the love, and compassion. We need to work with those energies. And as I said before, those are becoming available to us. And we, at the very least, must have a desire to change so that we can accept something new.
Okay. You have shared and trusted and allowed yourself to be vulnerable. And I thank you and honor you for that. And I will match it the best I can by sharing an experience that I had. And we'll wrap up with this if you don't mind. Um,
Good.
I was 14 years old. My mother sent me down. We lived in a farmland rural area, and it was also in Pennsylvania, where you are. And my mother sent me down the road to send something off to the old lady that was our neighbor. We were friends. And, oh, Brian, run down and give this to her. And it was about a mile and a quarter each way. And it was that time, I'll call it twilight. It was that time of the evening when by the time I was walking home, it was going to be dark, but there was still a little light when I set off. So when I got like almost to her house, excuse me, when I was coming back from her house for just a short distance, so it'd be like a quarter mile. I dropped off the thing and I turned around and I went about a quarter mile, and then I looked off in the distance. And for those who may know Pennsylvania, I was looking towards Elk Lake. I was looking eastward toward Elk Lake, and I could see the horizon, the mountain, the Appalachian Mountains, and I was stunned because I saw an orange round thing. It would be the size of you holding a US nickel in your hands at arm length away from you. That's the size it was to me. I don't know how big it was. I don't know if it was literally over the peak of the mountain or if it was 100 miles past the mountain, but I was seeing it that way. But I saw this orange glowing ball, and it just stood there. It didn't shine, it didn't twinkle, it didn't glimmer, it didn't throw light onto things. It was just a dull orange glow. And I said, that is so weird. That it's not the moon. That can't be the moon. And I looked around and saw the moon a lot bigger and totally different area of the sky. And I said, okay, it's definitely not the moon. And I was just mesmerized by this thing. And as I continued to observe and watch, these three other little tiny craft came and buzzed right through the sky. They came from the north and zoom, came right around the orange ball and sort of buzzed around it, almost like little puppies coming back home to their mama. And they were autonomous and independent. They were not one thing. Like, in other words, it wasn't a triangle craft with 3 points of light, which is common. It wasn't that. It was three like little drones or smaller craft of some kind. And they were defying physics. The way they moved was insane. And even though they were independent, they moved as if they were on rubber bands connected to each other. They were never far apart, but they were never exactly in unison either. They were just like a stretchy rubber band was between them, if that makes sense. They were not one unit, and they were not moving like this. They were moving like this, like a rubber band was between them. And I must have observed this for 4 or 5 minutes, which is a tremendously long gift of time to be able to observe and watch, rather than just seeing something quickly and it's gone. Now, I went home, told my parents, I don't even care what you think of me. I don't care if you think I'm crazy or I imagined this. I don't even care. And I told them what I saw. And they of course they couldn't explain it, and also neither could I. I didn't tell them I saw aliens. I don't know what I saw. I know what I saw. I just don't know exactly what it was. And then I went to school the next day and said, don't care what anybody thinks of me, because I'm kind of, I'm a liberated ego. I really don't care very much what anybody thinks of me. And I went back and told people, and it turns out that after a couple of days, there was like 100 witnesses that had seen it. There was like 100 people that had seen it. It wasn't just me. And many, many, many years later, when I lived in Hawaii, I was acquainted with the former head of MUFON. That's not MUFON.org. That's the UFO verification society, so to speak. And I told him about that, and he said, absolutely. That's one of the most common types of sightings that people have. Uh, there's hundreds and hundreds of people who have seen that. So that's my sharing. I did absolutely observe and witness what I shared with you, but I don't define it, and I don't speculate, and I don't inject my own ideas into what I think it is. But what I've described, I absolutely observed and witnessed when I was 14 years old.
So we're not alone.
And Lisa, I'm also aware, for those that might be wishing they could say this in the video right now, I'm also aware that more than half of all UFO sightings are actually retro-engineered military craft built by the United States. More than half. But we're talking about the other 40 or 45%.
That may be true. That may be true.
It is supposedly.
Oh, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Say that again. Well, Brian, I'm gonna end this with you now. I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak about this and to get as deep in it as you can. And I thank you very much for your patience and your friendship.
Likewise, and it has been a joy. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing. Thank you to our guests who have stayed with us. You are
Thank you.
courageous and brave and open-minded. May we all just remain in a state of wonder and not get too calcified in our adamant beliefs, because I don't think we really understand most of all of this. So thank you very much.
Agreed. Agreed.
I
Thank
tip
you.
my
Thank
tinfoil
you very
hat
much.
to
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I love that.
you. See you again. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.